Going live.
Oh, we're live. We're live, Freddy.
Yeah. What's up?
Just hanging out, man.
Getting our CEUs.
Dude, yeah, what'd you think?
Pretty good. You got to give people time to answer, though. You're answering all the questions. Is that
I'm
you
that
need to
guy.
sit in the back?
I'm that guy today. He's
I should have
asking.
known. I should have known a couple, but I was overthinking.
Yeah, there was one of them that got me was the type of anthracnose on the trees.
Yeah.
Because I typically see those leaves kind of shriveling in a little bit faster in our area, but I have seen that around here.
Well, I see the leaves shriveling all the time, and there's so many things it could be. So
Let's see.
when leaves are shriveling, I guess you need to look at other factors.
Is it
You need to
'cause
even
the
look
pool
away.
was cold, or
Possibly. The irrigation sprinkler's too cold.
That's right. So yeah, we're just on break, guys. Just hanging out in front of this tree. This tree's pretty crazy. What the
Going on 100 years. So planted in 1927.
19? And that's one old tree, Freddy.
Yeah.
So Freddy, tell us a little bit about your channel, man.
The lawn thumb.
Yeah.
So I basically just have the camera following me. My lawn care adventures. It's not necessarily an educational channel. It's more of just like real life dealing with the business. And sometimes I show my wins. Sometimes I show the losses. We're trying to do some new things this next season, calling it the next season too. But going to add in a couple other lawn care businesses, I think. Still in the process of that.
Okay.
Maybe while I'm here live, I'll ask you.
Dude,
if
why
you
not,
want to,
man?
jump in there a couple
That'd be
times.
sweet.
Yeah.
Let's do it. I'm always up for that.
Nice.
I'm always up for that. So, who's the prime candidate for watching your channel? Like, why do people go to your channel?
I think people go to my channel because they've been in business for a while and they feel like they might be at a plateau, and I would think that they could get a boost watching my channel.
Yeah, man.
You
I
know,
like to watch it.
I offer a lot of services. I deal with a lot of customers, and so a lot of times I'm trying new things because I'm trying to avoid complaints.
Yeah.
Also, I'm trying new things because I want my revenue to go up. So
I mean,
so-
let's get into the educational side. 90% of your issues that you run into that are that you're negatively impacted by, what are those
a
problems?
lot of times it's lack of training, employees. That's mainly the thing. Other times it's just the expectation of the customers.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Okay, well, there's two sides of that, because sometimes the expectation of a customer could be really low. Just want the basic services,
Yeah.
and a lot of times, you got experts out in the field that they don't like doing the bare minimum. You know
Sure.
what I mean?
Sure.
So they want to do things right. They want to spray the right way. They want to edge the right way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so sometimes they can go overboard, and the customer's like, "Oh, hold back. I don't need it to be that good."
Is that just a matter of money, or?
Yeah, money.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Also, there's the higher expectations of you may not have been clear with, let's say, necrotic ring.
Okay.
And you want to,
Expectations is a big one.
So you go in there saying, we're going to treat this thing, but they either forget that it can't be cured, or you just didn't explain that could really be possible.
Yeah, and I could see that being a big negative impact.
Yeah.
I think my number one issue is just lack of water, but I don't do the day in, day out mowing that
Right.
you do, which
Yeah.
is kind of separates us. I do all things chemical,
Right.
right? For the grass, the trees, the pesticides around the house, things like that. But water is my enemy.
Oh yeah, it's huge. I think, well, that's the beauty that I have is we're labor intensive. So I notice salon that's not watered, and we get in there and just say, no, we got to fix this, or you know what I mean?
I think the funniest thing, and I get this probably 4 times a year, is I'll have these people literally try to convince me that the reason why they hired us was so that they would save money on water.
Yeah.
And trying to explain to them that a lot of these
They work
lawn
together.
products are made out of salt,
Yeah.
and they have to have water
Right.
combined in order to function. And,
Yeah.
we live in a high pH area, so
right.
we really have to get the plant to to kind of create its own little pH balance, which is interesting.
Yeah,
So, but it's always fun, man.
it is. Like, we're out here learning some tips. So I took some tips out of here already.
Yeah.
So we've been
which
here
one
for
was
like
your
an hour
favorite?
and a half.
Yeah, it's, for those of you that don't understand, we're sitting at our continuing education units right now. We have to have what, 24? Is it
18, yeah, 24.
24 over 3 years, so it's not too bad. I usually don't get a lot out of these, but the guy who just came up from the Utah State University Extensions Department ran a pretty good Jeopardy.
Oh, yeah.
Jeopardy game, and they were asking really solid questions about trees. But what was your highlight?
Well, one of the things I took away that I don't normally really think about all the time. I mean, every once in a while we'll wash our hand pruners,
Ah,
and he was like,
That's another thing I don't deal with.
you should be wiping that down. I didn't hear how often he was saying, but I quickly emailed my office and I was like, we need to wash the hand. We need to disinfect the pruners after every job.
man.
So that's just something that it's like, how did I not think about that?
Gosh, what was that bacteria called that he was talking about? I'll have to put it in. It starts with a V, I think.
Oh,
Versilium.
yeah, Versilium.
Yeah. So I had a tree at my last house. And for those of you guys bought my last house, I apologize, but it has that bacteria, Versilium, and I fought that thing for probably 5 years, and I was losing. And unfortunately, it's a losing battle. There's really not much you can do about it, but it's basically where the branches just start dying off, and that fungus is actually or that bacteria is in the soil. So
Yeah.
it was kind of nice to put a name to the problem. I knew what was happening. I just didn't know the name. And I know a lot of you guys out there, I'd like to portray that I know most everything, but there's always something new, even for the ginger, that's for sure.
So
But
in that one, to identify it was obviously the dieback.
it's
But when you
selective
cut the branch,
branches,
you
though.
can see the rings.
Yes, that's a good point you're making. When you actually cut into the wood,
Mhm.
you can literally see the bacteria
Yeah.
on the inside.
I thought that
growing
was pretty
through it.
interesting.
That
Because
is.
that's something you can do. If you notice dieback, you can cut a piece.
Yeah, and I also switching gears a little bit. The other Jeopardy answer per se that I noticed that I was really kind of happy to see that he was bringing to light. A lot of you guys out there planting your
Too
trees
deep.
too deep.
I knew it.
Gosh,
Yeah.
I do maybe 100 tree assessments, somewhere between 50 and 100 tree assessments annually, and I would dare say 60 to 70% are because the tree was buried
Too deep. So
deep.
if you can see your tree,
Ooh, the
and it
mama
comes
tree.
right out of the ground, just like a pencil.
Yeah.
It's
Why
way
don't
too
you
deep.
tell them exactly how to plant a tree? I think
I mean, you gotta.
the easiest thing to remember for me
Yeah.
is that when you get it from the store in the bucket,
Yeah.
I think sometimes we want to bury that a couple of inches.
Yeah.
And those top feeder roots that are already exposed, that's what's bringing the oxygen down. It's almost like the nose. And you bury that and you cause problems. So you just don't, you want to keep that above ground.
Yeah.
What,
Well, I always look for the root flare. There's always, especially in a small
That's a good
plant,
point,
you
too.
can see a little bump at the bottom. Make sure that that's still showing when you're planting. So if you plant that too deep, the tree,
That's a great suggestion.
it's going to grow slowly, but when it gets too big, it's just going to start dying. So you got
That's the hips. The hips of the tree.
the root flare of the tree. So, but like you said, the little feeder roots need to stay close to the surface. That's important.
Yeah, I see that all the time, especially after winter. I'd say half of the trees that had winter dieback were because they were buried too deep.
Yeah. And a lot of times, just maybe the same kind of thing. You got to watch where you plant them. A lot of times, you'll plant a tree in a park strip, and it's getting way too much water.
That's right.
And if you plant it deep with too much water, that's just, you're asking to kill the tree.
Well, guys, we're out of time. Freddy, Lawn Thumbs.
All right. See you guys.
Yeah.